Alright, so again, for our two, let's review for our two guests what the new ideas, the basic ideas in Callous's Halo lessons are, his MLG lessons. The first one is the idea of thinking of Halo like a game of chess. You know, you look at your gun, you've got this reticle, you've got this gun. It's easy to think of Halo as a first-person shooter game where you run around shooting stuff. Yay, shooting things and shooting people. Okay. You can really improve on your ability to play Halo by thinking of it in deeper terms. And one of those ways we can think of it is imagining Halo to be like a game of chess, where there are certain positions that you need to occupy, and then also certain objectives to accomplish. All right. So today we're going to look at Countdown like a chessboard kind of, and we're going to think of ourselves as being the chess pieces on it. Okay. So then, in addition to thinking of Halo like a game of chess, there's also something that's really critical that's going to, and we're going to look at it in more detail, I think, on this map than in any other map we've looked at before. And that's the three-step rule. So it's three things. Number one is acquire power weapons. Number two is get into position and control the map. And number three is then to do whatever the objective is. Okay? So, look, the thing is this. If you go for position before you've got the power weapons, how long are you going to stay in position?
Not very long.
Not very long, because the other team's going to get rockets. All they have to do is, you know, let's say you're in a really great position over here, right? All they're going to do is peek around the corner, boom, bang. You're in position, but you're dead because they got power weapons. So you have to get power weapons first. Then the second thing you need to do is get into good position. And the third thing then is to accomplish your objective, whether that's to capture the flag or to kill the enemy. Today we're going to go over Slayer first. In previous maps we've gone over capture the flag first. Today we're going to go over Slayer first. Okay? So for MLG version 7, this map has, for MLG 7 Slayer, this map has 1 power-up and 2 power weapons. Rockets, Big Door, Sniper S2, and what else?
Or not camo, I mean overshield on that platform.
Active camo on platform. So let's run up there and just take a look at it.
Sorry.
Yeah, right here. Active camo. Out here on balcony. What are we going to do to try to get a hold of these power weapons? It can be a little bit of a rock paper scissors, because look, what's really important, what's super critical, is the rockets. Okay, so let's say we send 3 people to go get rockets. They come down here and they overwhelm the other team's people. Let's say the other team only sent 2 people, so our team overwhelms the other team, and we come down and grab rockets. But if we send 3 people for rockets, and the other team sends a couple people for sniper, the 2 people they send for sniper will overwhelm our 1 team member who went for sniper. And what's he going to do when he picks up sniper? He's going to turn it over here toward rockets, yeah, and he's going to shoot the rocket guys. So while we would love to have rockets, we can't just ignore the sniper guy, because if he grabs sniper, he may frustrate the fact that we were trying to, he may frustrate our attempt to get rockets, even though we sent more guys over here. Alright? So we can send more than the necessary amount over to get sniper. Let's say, hey, I've decided that the sniper rifle is really, really important in helping us get rockets. So we're going to send 3 people for sniper rifle. Okay? If they send 2 people for sniper rifle, we may get in a long enough drawn out battle that they may get the rockets. They may snag the rockets and then run back into cover. And in these close quarters back in here, in the triangle and in the jetpack and whatever, the rockets are far more deadly than the sniper rifle is. Okay, 1 single shot can get multi-kills, whereas in close quarters combat you kind of need to be really good with the sniper rifle to get a no-scope. Alright, well, and on top of that, we've got the camo out back. They may have somebody who's really good at sneaking around and using camo, and instead of sending people for the sniper rifle, they may send 1 guy to keep the sniper guy busy over here. Somebody may get active camo, come down the other side and assassinate him from behind or whatever. So, in this map, you know, sometimes in other maps we'll say, definitely go here, definitely go there, leave this behind, leave that, you know, worry about this later. You know, on this map, that's a tough decision. It's almost more of a lucky situation, which you choose to get and which they choose to go for. Because you really need all of them. They're all useful. But being able to decide, hey, I'm going to use this one to overpower that one or whatever, It's a little bit more tricky. It's almost sort of like a game of rock, paper, scissors, whether you decide it correctly based on what the other team chooses to do. I would say that a really sound idea, just as a general rule, is to send 2 people for rockets and 2 people for sniper. And then if your team overpowers the guy at sniper, then whichever one of you survives can also go back up and get active camo. You can also come around here, and if it looks like you're going to be overwhelmed for sniper, right? If you're battling it out and you realize they're up on shot count and not going anywhere, maybe they also got a lucky grenade in the beginning, abandon sniper and go for active camo. Just like, you know what? I'm not going to stand here and keep firing and get myself killed for nothing. They won, they got the battle, they got the sniper. Okay, so I'm going to retreat and go get active camo while I can. So you got to make these decisions sort of on the fly, I think. I don't think there's any really obvious, easy decision about which power weapon to go for first. Let's assume that your team gets rockets, all right? This is one of those occasions when the 3-step rule, we are going to kind of put it on hold for just a minute. Well, yeah, we're going to kind of do it in slightly different order. The thing is, the rocket launcher is so effective back in these areas back in here, that if your team gets the rocket launcher, you can kind of leave rule 2, step 2 on hold for just a second. And your team is going to call out to you positions where they know the enemy is, and you're going to go, a guy's going to back you up, but from a short distance so he doesn't risk getting rocketed. And you can basically just have your way back in here and kill enemies until you run out of rockets. So if you're lucky enough to get the rocket launcher, you can kind of forget about step 2 for just a second. And you come back here, and your team's like, oh, he's XYZ guy is in basement. He's heading back. Ah! Boom! You got a kill on him. And then you're going to come back up in here, and whatever. Your team's going to help you. You're going to hide out, and you're going to just empty your rocket launcher on people, okay? So this is one of those occasions when it's a bit, and you'll see this in MLG games all the time, too. If you're lucky enough to get the rocket launcher, you're just going to, your team's going to help you, and the guy with the rocket launcher is just going to take out people until he's out of rockets. Okay, so that's a really excellent way to start out the game. And if there are a couple people down because your team has successfully used the rocket launcher, now you're going to go set up. The single best setup for Countdown is what Callous calls a box setup. So back here, you're not actually going to be in the bubble, in the top vent, but in this area, right? From here you can shoot across, you can support your team across the way. You can see down here, down to base. You can see down to window. You can see down to basement. You can see to S2, S1, big door. You can also come around here if you need to. Big door, and okay. So this whole area right through here is one area to occupy. Okay, and you're going to occupy the opposite one where Jew is over there. So you got 2 guys. One is at this position, and one is at the mirror image position on the other side of the map. All right. The other 2 guys are going to be up here on S3, okay? One area that's a really valuable area to occupy is the hole, okay? Being back in here, you're protected a little bit from fire. You can pop out and pop back in. If you need to escape, you just escape down you just jump down the hole and run away and escape. Being naded, if you're back in these corners back here, it's relatively easy to nade somebody. Here in this spot, if somebody throws a nade, you can jump back and get out of the way. So it's a little bit harder to be naded if you're right here next to the doorway. You can hear it coming and back up or jump back or whatever. And the other position would be a roamer, and he would roam S3. So what he's going to do is come out and make noise, shoot at the other team, encourage them to attack him through small door, and then back up. And as he backs up and they come through small door, his teammate over there can see them, and he can see them. So that's a 2-on-1 as they go through this choke point. You can throw grenades, and so you've got 2 people shooting on that position and throwing grenades and stuff as they go through this narrow choke point. All right. If people make it through that doorway and he starts to get overwhelmed, or if people come through this doorway, then his buddy who's here can come out and help him. He can lay down shots, he can step out, the 2 of them can bait and switch, So if he's getting fired on and has to back up, you know, he can come back around here, and his buddy who was here can then come out and start shooting. Alright? So you've got these two guys up here, and I'm not going to pretend to know exactly all the best ways that they can do this, but the two of them up here bait and switch back and forth through the holes and here on S3.
Just one thing, make sure when you're doing this that you don't get caught with the jetpack, so keep your ears open. A lot of people like jetpack up through here, since jetpack's right around the wall. Just listen for it, it's pretty loud.
One question people have is, how are you going to break this setup? Because what happens is people will come filing up through small doors. Clinkety clink, here they come. They have to fight their way through this choke point. They make it part way up, and they're already getting fired on by somebody from, yeah, right there, somebody from right here, and maybe even somebody from crap. So here I am trying to fight my way through this doorway. I'm getting my ass kicked as I try to get through here. By the time I fought my way up into here, yeah, exactly, now the guy over there where Jew is shooting at me, and I'm dead. So I get to respawn down at the bottom, I get to fight my way back up, here I am. Yeah. How am I ever going to break this setup? Okay, let's go back to the 3-step rule. Number 1 is power weapons. So, breaking this setup, here we're going to break this setup. We keep spawning downstairs. Okay, what's really important to do is realize that the other team is set up, and don't get your ass handed to you 10 times in a row before it occurs to you, hey, I need to do something different. Alright, once the other team is set up, now it's time to do your counter. And the counter is this. Who's got a jetpack? Who's got a jetpack? Okay, so go back to the garage. The guy with the jetpack is going to hang out back here, but at some point he's going to come back around to the garage and he's going to wait. Okay, he's going to let his team know, I'm setting up for the breakup, I got the jetpack. And he's going to tell them which garage he's at. I'm at red garage, I'm at blue garage, okay? The other team, his 3 team members are going to go back up on balcony. They're going to hang out in this area, and when two of them are going to be on the same side that he's on, one of them is going to be on the other side. Alright, so you've got one person over here, and you got 2 people over here. And when he says
interject real quick.
Please do.
The way that you should do this, the way you should weight it, is you should have, since we're red team, you should have 2 people over here, and 1 person on our garage door. The reason that is because you want the person at garage door to lift up and open up this spawn in attic. That's very crucial to this breaking. So you want to open up your spawn up top. Yeah. So once you kill that person up there, your spawn opens, and that's the whole point of this.
Awesome, thank you. So you're on your side. If you're red, you want to be on your side, not blue side. Okay, so when you're in place, you'll say, we're in position. You let them know you're ready. And what will happen is you'll say go, and the 2 people that are at small door are going to come out, and they're going to fire on the guy on their street, right? So you'll have 2 guys. They'll be able to lay down fire on the guy at, you know, this area that's deep into street, near top vent, near attic, right there. They'll see him. And they're gonna put down more shots on him than he can return. That's just, it's 2-on-1. He has no choice. Okay? So he's back here at attic / street / vent. And what are his options? His options are to duck into the vent to get out of fire, or possibly to duck back into attic. Once he's ducked out of view, you're gonna say, Jew, will you go back over down into garage? Once he's ducked out of view, if he's smart, he's gonna duck this way, because it gives him more options for retreat. If he's me, he's going to go this way, which is just like it's like a thing that you do when you're getting shot at. It's like, oh hell, I got to get out of here, and you just duck back around the corner. When he's ducked around the corner, his teammates are going to say, now, okay, now Jew, and here comes Jew. Ah, crap. I'm down on shot count, so that I know I'm not going to beat Jew in a 1-on-1. Even if I empty my gun on him, he's going to beat me. My options are to run. Now he's shooting me in the back, and the 2 of them are shooting me. I'm dead. I'm a dead man. Because he's going to lay 2 or 3 shots. I'm already down on shot count. They're going to lay 2 or 3 shots, and I'm dead. If I was smart and ran this way, I may be able to run away and jump down to big door. But one way or the other, when I hear him jetpacking up, I may run away to big door. But one way or the other, I'm out of position. What may happen is I may duck back in here and think I'm going to try to hold my position, in which case Jew's going to fly up and throw a grenade in there and kill me. So anyway, the basic idea of the way you break this is you pinch this poor sucker right here. You pinch him between the two guys at small door shooting down there, and somebody jetpacking back up over the top of that. So you acquire a power-up. You know, that's rule number one. You acquire a power-up, and that helps you break this. What happens if you can't break it? Let's say they're way better shots than you, or for whatever you tried it, and it doesn't work. Okay, wait and acquire another power weapon. Wait, fight it out for the rocket launcher, and when the time comes, jetpack up over there and drop a rocket in his lap. Okay? So, step one, acquire power weapons. You're going to use the power weapons to break this setup. Right? And then you're going to set up. One thing I wanted to point out that I forgot to mention is the guys who are back here in attic, obviously your team needs to know when the power weapons are coming up. So the guys who are back here in attic, it's their job when the time comes to drop down and pick up the rocket launcher. And it's the guys up here who are fighting it up on S3 and in the hold. It's going to be their job when the time comes to come over and drop down to S2 and pick up the sniper rifle. So I have one question. Why don't we fight back in here? Like, we could have one guy, like this looks like just as good a door to stand around and behind as that door, small door. And we're a little bit closer to our friends over here, so it seems like we might have kind of a buddy system going. Why don't we want to have a guy clear back on street when we've got a guy back here? Why do we want to be out further? This area up here is a platform for people to fight from. There are two choke points. There's one here, and there's one here. If these guys fight through this first choke point, in order to get to you, they still have to go through a second choke point or drop down and chase you or something else. So part of the thing about S3 is you want to occupy it because it gives you somewhere to run. If the other team makes it up this far, it's a nade pit. You just throw nades and it's easier to kill them up here. If you're all the way back here, you've given the other team half of the top ground, or a third of the top ground. You've given them the gift of occupying S3 if they want it. Don't do that. You know, you can, if they're fighting their way successfully from Platte up through here, retreat, okay? You can retreat back to here, but don't give it to them from the get-go. Okay, don't let them have it to start with. That's just a gift that you're giving them. One thing to remember is that the other team, unless they're just completely retarded, they're also going to be trying to acquire power weapons. And since you've already got position, the upper position, as they go for power weapons, they're not going to be trying, they can't simultaneously go for power weapons and dislodge you from your position. And so as they're going for the rockets, the guys who are at S3 will be fairly safe to push forward this far. This is the one time when they're still in position even though they've left S3, because the battle is all going to be happening down here. The other team is going to be coming through from objective. They're going to be coming back through to try to go through the garages and try to go there. So by having both of the guys from S3, when you go for rockets, drop back to this position, you can lay down additional fire and help out in the battle for rockets. And then after rockets are acquired, you know, you don't have to worry about losing your position up here, because the other team is not going to be trying to retake the top and get rockets at the same time. If for whatever reason they are so dumb that they don't realize that rockets are spawning, and they like bull rush one of you from there, you know what? Temporarily abandon your position, because your guy just got the rockets. He's going to come, you know, you let him know, you're going to be like, hey, they didn't even try to take the rockets. They didn't even come to get the rockets. What's their problem? You're like, oh, I got attacked by all four of them. I had to run. Your guy with rockets is going to come up here and get a multi-kills and stuff. So it's a very temporary thing if you've accidentally lost position while picking up the rockets.
Like you said, the people here are responsible for sniper rifle. So what I like to do is have one person drop down for it and then bring it back up, while the other person is watching him and controlling this area so that he has somewhere to come back to. Same thing with rockets. If we go look over here, we have two people in these radios. One person drops for the rockets when they come up. This person can back all the way into this corner and watch. He has a good sight on rockets, or he can push forward onto the catwalk here, and he has a complete view of everything here. So he's watching his back while he gets them, and then the rocket guy or two can lift up back to his position and when you go for power weapons, you're going to want to have sniper set up in one of these radios, and you're going to want to have rockets and camo around this area. So when you go for power weapons, step 1, and you get them, you're going to bring them back up here, acquire map control, and basically your positions may change depending on what weapon you have or what position you're in. So they're not always going to be the same. Like, you can't say Jew is sitting over here all the time, or Crayola is over there all the time, or whatever. You're going to be shifting as the game goes on, and you acquire power weapons and regain map control over again.